What's going on? My name is Robert Stewart, and this is
yours truly, David White.
This is David White. We're back with another episode of Sports Talk. We are definitely going to be talking about some good things here this evening. We're going to talk about the up-and-coming NFL playoffs, as well as what's around the league going on right now. Then we're going to move into a little bit NBA talk, and then we're going to do what? You want to talk about baseball?
A little bit. I don't want to spend too
much time. We're going to talk about baseball a little bit, and then we're going to go over some things that we're going to talk about next time, and definitely what's up and coming for the NBA. So, this coming up weekend, we have an exciting week. We have NFL playoffs getting ready to start with Carolina Carolina is playing the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is traveling to Carolina, facing off against those two teams. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers playing against each other. That's going to be the game of the week, matter of fact, because those two teams, it's going to be a bloodbath. Then you got Cincinnati and the Indianapolis Colts. And then you have the Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. So I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Being a Super Bowl contender, they may go to the NFC Championship, given the fact that the Cowboys been playing unbelievable football this season. Because last season they went 8-8. This year, a huge turnaround. First time in many years.
They end up 12. They end up 12-4.
Yeah, they went up with 12-4. They had a great season. That last game of the season was a little sloppy, but they ended up beating the sleeves off of the Washington Redskins in the end. It was like, what?
I'm not sure. I didn't even bother even checking that. 38 or something.
Yeah, it was like 38-10 or something like that.
Something
it was definitely a good.
A meaningless game.
Yeah, a meaningless game. But the Cowboys needed that going into playoffs, so I'm glad that they won their last game. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see what the Cowboys do in the playoffs.
Well, I got a couple issues with Dallas, and you know, our first and foremost, you always want to talk about the durability of Tony Romo. You know, I know he plays injured and so forth, but can he get us to the next big game? You know, I mean, can he go without, you know, coming from behind, having to throw these impossible passes in the last 5 minutes that sometimes end up in interception? We've seen that so many times that people actually have feared that they will see this again. So I don't think that we have to worry about this against Detroit. I think they should be able to beat Detroit pretty handily. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I say at least by a couple touchdowns. Detroit has some issues themselves, and
but with Calvin Johnson, I think Detroit's going to give him a run for their money. Because Calvin Johnson, all you got to do is throw the ball up, and he's going to catch the ball.
Well, so same thing with Des Bryant.
Yeah.
Des Bryant will actually get you more yardage beyond the catch that Calvin Johnson will. See, but we also know that Stafford he can be a big time interception person when it comes to games that are very important with a lot of pressure on him, and especially if you're blitzing. If you're blitzing him effectively, and he has to get rid of that ball, he is subject to throw some interceptions as well. So it's going to be, you know, like I said, I'm going with Dallas. Because of the home field advantage. I don't think that Detroit is able to overcome some of those things. And Dallas, of course, has your boy Murray. Detroit doesn't have a running back like that on their roster last time I checked. And I think he's going to run all over them. So as long as you got the league leader rushing on your team, I can't see Romo passing. You know. I mean, I think he may pass once out of every 3 times, but you don't have to pass when you got Murray.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
So hey, you know, I think Dallas. I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, with Dallas. So right here. Now with the Arizona and Carolina, I'm going with Carolina on this one. Arizona hasn't scored a touchdown in like 3 weeks, or no, it was 2 weeks before they scored a touchdown in the last game of the season. I see Carolina winning this maybe 21-7. It's going to be a good game in the beginning, but let's face it, Arizona don't have a quarterback. They're missing Carson Palmer.
They're only third. This is the third string quarterback that's playing.
Right, so they're in trouble. Arizona in trouble, especially the production that they've been given for the past 3 to 4 weeks haven't been great, and it's going to show in this game. The Seattle Seahawks annihilated them and literally embarrassed them. Just showed how weak their defense really is, basically.
Are they playing on Saturday, by the way?
Yeah, they're playing.
So on top of everything they got going on, they have a shorter week to get ready for.
Right.
So, let's just be real straightforward here. If Carolina is going to win this game, their quarterback has got to play a little bit like the Superman that he says he is.
Yeah.
Arizona has a heck of a defense, and that's how they've been winning their games lately, as of lately. When they beat the Rams down a couple weeks ago, it was mostly the defense.
Yeah.
So they do still have a defense, as far as I understand. And if anybody can throw the ball, you got Larry Fitzgerald to worry about. Right. So, this is not going to be a cakewalk for Carolina at all. I think they're going to have to wrestle them over this victory. And I think Cam Newton is going to have to run. He's going to have to run for at least 100 yards for them to win this game.
And Arizona have problems with mobile quarterbacks because Russell Wilson embarrassed him in a Sunday night game, which was a spectacular. They only scored 3 points in the whole game, and they called themselves the best defense in the league. And what Seahawks, how many points they put up in that game?
I'm not sure. It might have been 38.
Yeah, it was about 30. I just say we're going to round up about 38 points. So definitely a good game. But Arizona got issues. Whoever makes the division round, some of them not even going to make it past the division round of the playoff. If Carolina makes it to that point, depending on who they match up with, they probably won't. Go forward in the playoffs. But just on side note, St. Louis Rams ended their season 6-10, something like that. It was horrible. Whatever it was, he wasn't even keeping track. But our defense is going to pretty be tight. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the offseason. They definitely need to get another quarterback because Sean Hill is not the answer. So
you got to make sure they stay in here first of all.
Right. Well,
last show we had, of course, we talked about them, the possibility, the rumors circling around about them, possibly leaving. But apparently they're going to be staying in St. Louis. Now that means some renovations to the Edward Jones Dome. I hope that means more revenue, whatever. But with all that said, they have a lot of work to do in the off season, and for the first time, I think they need to go ahead and spend money. Spend money getting you some Pro Bowl players. Yeah. Don't be afraid of free agency. Some guys, locking some guys up for a few years, giving them guaranteed money. The Rams have not done that. And since they did that with your boy, the quarterback Bradford, I guess Long got a good deal too.
Well, Bradford, he's on his last year in his contract. I hope the Rams do not re-sign him because he's a bust pretty much. Ain't did nothing. Russell Wilson already got a Super Bowl, and Kaepernick been to the Super Bowl before Bradford. So his time in St. Louis has ended after next season because if they don't do nothing, he's definitely gone for sure.
Well, you're really not going to be able to see how good a quarterback is, and I think Sam Bradford is very talented. He didn't win the Heisman Trophy for no reason. He's a very talented man, quarterback. But when you have a team that doesn't have any offensive line, and the people they pick at number 2, I ain't saying his name because I don't want to say it, don't want to remember his name. Number 2 pick offensive lineman come out a bust. You hear me?
I wouldn't say he was bust. I said, just rookie.
What?
Woes. That's rookie woes.
He was a bust. The man got hurt.
Oh, no, I don't think he got hurt.
No. Bradford was hurt.
But it wasn't from him.
It was from the line. The line's still.
It was from, I'm going to tell you, Long, because Long was a bust. If you talk about a major sign, it was bust.
You won't start throwing names out. It don't matter. The Rams are a bust.
It was definitely a bust.
The Rams are a bust. It doesn't matter. The Rams are a bust. So they need to spend money this year, and not just on people in their camp, on free agents. They need to get some wide receivers. They need to get a backup running back, maybe a fullback. You know, they're going third down conversions. They need some offensive line. So with that said, they can address the quarterback issue after they've done the other things.
And with that, we're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come right back. We're going to wrap up the NFL, and then we're going to go into some NBA. See you in a minute. Well, we're back. Welcome back. Where we left off, we talked a little bit about the Rams. Now we're moving to the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be probably the matchup of the evening for a lot of people. They want to see what the Ravens and Steelers going to do. It's going to be an interesting game, you know, with Bell looking like he's good to go at running back. That he may cause some problems with the Ravens, but in the end, I think the Ravens are going to prevail. They got some pretty good receivers that can get over the cornerbacks that the Pittsburgh Steelers have. I've kind of watched them all throughout the course of the season. Pittsburgh is dangerous when they're at home. Depending on who's at home, is going to probably prevail in this game. It's not going to be an easy game. It's going to probably come by like 3, maybe a point, depending on how well the defense plays. What are your thoughts?
It may come down to a field goal. I'm not sure. I still think Flacco is a better quarterback, of course. But Bell, of course, gives Pittsburgh an advantage. It's a toss-up. They're two evenly matched teams. I think Roethlisberger has a knack of pulling these kind of games out.
Yeah.
We've seen him do it so many times in the past 3 or 4 years. I think he just has a knack of pulling these close games out. I think once again, unless Joe Flacco comes out to be, you know, the superstar Pro Bowl quarterback that we know he is,
right.
If he does that, then Pittsburgh will not have a chance. But like I said, if Flacco has an average game, Pittsburgh wins because they have Bell. So, you know, with that said.
The last game, the Cincinnati Bengals and Indianapolis, I don't even care who really advanced in that game. But whoever comes out there, they're not going to get past the divisional round. But we're ready to transition into the NBA Christmas festivities. Wasn't impressed at all with a lot of teams on Christmas Day. The Knicks is horrible. They have a lot of issues. I mean, I didn't know it was that bad.
Did they play the Wizards?
Yeah, they played the Wizards, and the Wizards lit into them. I mean, literally, Wall, he went off. I mean, that young man there, they look like a strong contender to make it to the finals this year, especially adding Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I don't agree with you at all.
You don't agree with me at all?
Because first of all, nobody wanted to see the Knicks and the Wizards play in the first place.
No.
That's why they came on at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why nobody wanted to see them on Christmas Day.
Right.
And another thing is that, you know, the Knicks is a marquee team. They may not be this year, but they're always a money. Now, as I was saying I don't agree with you about the Washington Wizards. I think they're fake. The reason why I think they're fake because Paul Pierce doesn't have anything left. He hasn't even, I think he scored over 20 points one time this year so far, and he is a defensive liability. They gave Gortat, whatever his last name is, a boatload of money about a year or so ago for a man who's averaging 12.8 points a game and about 7 rebounds, and then he only plays about 30-something minutes. They gave him about $100-something million. You know, so this team to me is a team they're probably going to end up doing the same thing the Pacers did last year. They're going to have this nice pre-All-Star record, and then they're going to start to wear down a little bit. You know, they don't know if they're a fast team or a half-court team. They've got too many old guys on their team for them to be a fast-paced team. And they get the backcourt they have, as fast as those two guys are, they have to actually slow down. Have you seen them do that? We're
back. We can move back into the NFL for a brief moment. We just got finished talking about Christmas, basketball, NBA. Big moves been happening since the last game of the season. We had about 4 or 5 coaches get fired. We got the Jets coach Rex Ryan, who should have been fired from the New York Jets for some years. You had the Atlanta Falcons coach, who should have been fired a couple of years ago. He just got fired. Who else? Who else just got fired from the position? It's a bunch of teams that need help. That let go some pretty good.
When Jim Harbaugh did get fired, he left.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh got great coach. He don't think he's a great coach, but in my opinion, he was a good coach. Led his team to back-to-back NFC championship, a Super Bowl appearance. You're not going to find another coach like that. He went to the Michigan Wolverines, and I wish the best for Jim Harbaugh and his family. But the New York Jets, they won't be good for the next 5 years. Whoever they bring in, hopefully, whoever they bring in has a huge impact. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons. They got too many issues, from management to players, personnel. They need to get it together over in that organization. Who else? Who else?
So Atlanta's the most talented football team right now. I think that they had to fire their coach. When you look at some of the names, you look at Julio Jones. These are some of the best receivers in the league. Period. And I still think your boy at quarterback, last time I checked, was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's right. Matt Ryan is still a stud, and he still got some studs to throw it to. And if your boy came over from St. Louis, I ain't gonna mention his name because he didn't do much.
Ain't nobody.
Ain't
nobody to be mentioned.
But if he decides to stay or leave, whatever he decides to do, a lot of what they're going for does depend on the running game. They do have to have a running game. Yeah. Atlanta is not, the Falcons' offense is not that effective without the running threat.
Right.
But they do, I think they're the most talented team that had to fire their coach over the weekend. The Jets, I wouldn't even mention them in my conversation because it's just a waste of time. Their whole organization is a waste of time. So
yeah.
they did Mr. Ryan a favor and fired him.
Yeah, just fired him.
Somebody else.
General manager too. He got fired
So
too.
Something they should have done a couple of years ago, but that organization is a soap opera. So anyway,
it's New York. It's gonna be a soap opera. So
I'm surprised the Giants. I don't know if the Giants fired.
No, he's back.
Still the coach?
Yeah, he's back.
Giants should have took note and fired him.
I don't know, depending on what the Giants do next season. They got a pretty good squad to go for next year with Eli. You got Beckham.
It's hard to fire somebody that got you 2 bowls.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, 2 Super Bowls from the New England Patriots. Hey, I take that any day and twice on Sunday.
2 Super Bowls. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. And they were both by the New England Patriots.
But that organization is another. I mean, they're good on paper, but internally they're a mess too. So, but anyway, I won't waste any conversation on that.
Right. So, it's definitely been interesting to see the moves that's been going on in the NFL lately. It's definitely mind-boggling at times because they did fire the coach from Chicago Bears, who they should have been fired. That organization's got issues. They should have just kept Lovie Smith. He did great with the organization. But Bears won't see another playoffs for the next 5-6 years until they get it together. But it's definitely been some moves going on during the offseason already. Washington Redskins got rid of their defensive coordinator, and Jim Haslam. He should have been
good riddance.
So
good riddance.
Like, it's about time.
He gets fired everywhere he goes. He gets fired.
Right. So. It's interesting to see.
It don't matter where he go, he get fired.
Yeah, you go.
He went to Dallas Cowboys, won Super Bowl. You still fired.
As the defensive coordinator.
As defensive coordination. Anyway.
So, what else? What else we need to cover now? We're gonna talk a little bit about baseball. There ain't too much movement going around.
Cheapskates.
It's definitely
Cardinals. Cheapskates. Cheapskates. Everybody else spent $150 million. Here you are spending $1 million on some bums. Anyway, enough said. I think this. And this is a St. Louis show, so I think it's disappointing when you have you're one player away from winning 2 or 3 World Series, and you don't go out and get it.
Right.
one pitcher, one big game pitcher, from winning 1 or 2 championships, and you ain't trying to go out and get it. And you got all the money in the world. It's just foolishness. And you sit here and you be tight with the money, and you let. Well, I ain't gonna even bring up the past, but it did let this guy who we thought was one of the best players we ever seen play the game, over a couple of dollars.
Well, it's a couple of $1 million.
Couple million? What's a couple $1 million in baseball language, brother?
Right.
Cubs just gave $155 million.
Right, and they
to a dude that's 30 years old.
And they still gonna be in last place.
So let me tell you, if it was the Cubs with Pujols asking them for $250 million, they would have said sign it out of line. But anyway, but St. Louis, they got St. Louis has their own way, of dealing with things. Like with baseball, whether it's the Rams, whether it's the Cardinals, whether it's the Blues. You got the Blues. They have their own way of trying to micromanage the little pennies they say they got, but they really get. There's a boatload of money here. They just don't want to spend it.
Yeah.
Last time the Blues spent some money was on your boy Gretzky.
Yeah. And we still didn't win no championship.
But we came close. We came close. They came.
We really did come close during that time frame.
That's what spending money will get you. They get you
Louis
close.
Blues, I don't know what they doing. They got issues in that front office. They could do some things to improve that hockey club, especially get us over the hump. We haven't been able to get up even past the first round. We go up 2-0, but our goalie or something happens where we give up too many goals. We lose the game. But,
it's called free agency. It's called go out and sign somebody in free agency like every other club does, instead of trying to farm league everybody.
Right.
You can't farm league everybody.
Yeah,
you can't get everybody out your farm league system and think they're going to be good. They may be good role players, but sometimes, for the most part, you're going to have to go out and pay the money to get a superstar.
Yeah.
We haven't had that here in St. Louis in years. Sorry to say so.
Yeah, we could have had Michael Vick. They gave Michael Vick, I think.
We're talking about the Rams now. I ain't talking about the hockey now.
Right.
He's talking about the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, because I go back to Rams and hockey. Because, I mean, with hockey, with our issue is we don't want to spend the money. I'm like, come on, bring us somebody that's really good. That way we can compete with the LA Kings. Because we can't get past LA Kings. Because for some reason, LA Kings has our number. Even we was up 1 year, 3-0. They came back and won, beat us, and we knocked us out the playoffs. So, I mean...
We got all-stars on the team, probably Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
None of that's on St. Louis. Forget about it.
Right. It's
waste your time. Yeah.
It's definitely interesting.
They do the same thing this year.
Yeah.
Probably
knocked
worse.
out the first or the second round, depending on who they play. LA. If they meet LA first, they probably get knocked out. Don't know.
It could be anybody. It could be Phoenix. It could be anybody. It could be.
Well,
it
I
doesn't
think
matter.
it'll be Phoenix, but
yeah.
It just depends on who they match up with. But
Chicago. It could be anybody.
They kryptonite is between Chicago and LA. Those are the two kryptonite.
But at least they losing the people who's winning Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They just don't have any All-Stars. They don't have any Hall of Famers.
But we'll go up like 2-0. We'll go up in the playoffs like 2-0, and then they'll come back and take the lead, and we can't even catch back up.
It's called not having a superstar that can win you a game by himself.
Yeah. That's true.
That's in every league. It's in Major League Baseball. It's in the NBA. It's in hockey. It's in whatever. The Blues don't have one player that can win them a game in a series by himself. They don't have it. They don't want to spend the money. They're not going to have it.
Right. So with that said, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to wrap it up, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's our time for our Odd Man Out. And today, our Odd Man Out is St. Louis organization. Is our Odd Man Out today. You want to start ripping?
We're talking about, as far as Odd Man Out, we're talking about, really it's the fans that's the Odd Man Out, because we are subject to some billionaire owners as far as the Cardinals, the Blues, and the Rams, who are tightwads when it comes to free agents. So now we're subject to getting into playoffs and getting close sometimes like the Cardinals did. And because we don't have that one player that I think that every team needs to be able to win a couple of games by himself in a series, whether it's on a hockey team, whether it's on a baseball team, whether it's in a football game when you need a couple touchdowns, you got a superstar running back or whatever it is. We don't have that in St. Louis. We don't have that in St. Louis because here, you know, they have a whole different system of how they do things, and it doesn't mean spending lots of money, unfortunately. They had every opportunity to go out, the Rams did this offseason, and spend money on free agents. I remember one time they had a chance to get Terrell Owens.
Right.
One time they had a chance to get Randy Moss. They had a chance to get Michael Vick. You know what they did? They let other people get him. Passed him up. Came up with some draft pick.
Right.
And now here we are looking at 6 and 10.
Yeah.
You know, 6 and 10, 6 and 10.
Which is sad.
And here we are, you know, as far as the Cardinals are concerned, you know, I'm kind of glad I can't pronounce the GM's last name because I don't want his name in my mouth. He is a cheapskate. You know what I'm saying? And he has done nothing but bring us used, old, worn out talent. That's why we're the odd man out, because here we are, diehard Cardinal fans, and we keep seeing people like Lackey getting out of his grave and come pitch for us. Literally getting up out of his grave and come pitch for us. And you think we're going to win a series?
Well, I like that.
Against the young guns? No. Holiday can't carry the whole offense on his back.
No, he can't.
You know what I'm saying? He can't give you 25 home runs no more. 100 RBIs. He needs help.
Yeah, he do.
You trade away all his help. You think John Jay go? I heard somebody tell me about 5 years ago, John Jay came. You can't win a World Series with John Jay. They won one with him.
Right.
That may be it. He's best a utility guy. You have got to go out and get you one more superstar.
That's right.
Okay, superstar is not a cuss word now, St. Louis people. It's not a cuss word, so you can say it. You can say it with me. Superstar is not a cuss word. Blues fans, Rams fans, Cardinal fans, it's not a cuss word. Superstar. Spend the money. Let's go to playoffs. Let's win title.
Just like
This is
Johnny
pitiful,
Cash,
man.
spend the money.
We'll have to the greatest show on turf.
Right.
They don't have any superstars.
Well,
They had Hall of Famers on that team.
yeah.
And ain't a Hall of Famer coming to the Rams game.
You ain't lying.
Man, I'm done with this. I may just explode, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting chills talking about it.
With me,
I'm glad I'm from Decatur, Illinois.
I've been a Rams fan, St. Louis Cardinals,
Pray for you.
Blues
Pray for you.
fan for a long time. But yeah, I agree with him. I mean, management needs to get it together, bring in some hard-hitting superstars, and let's go win a Stanley Cup for a change. You know, that's one thing that I want to see before I die and leave this earth. I would like to see the St. Louis Blues win a Stanley Cup championship. Will it ever happen? I don't think so. As long as this management continues to jack up prices.
Go down there and build you a tent in front of their office and lay down there for all year long with a sign saying spend some money on a superstar and maybe you'll get a Stanley Cup here in
That's what
St.
we
Louis.
need to do, spend some money. Because honestly,
Otherwise, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't happening.
Billionaire.
Right. It ain't happening. I'm sorry, it's not
How
happening.
can you be a cheap billionaire?
Right.
That's a new terminology.
Because you shopping at Aldi's, you can't win a championship shopping at Aldi's, what my man said in the last segment.
But a couple weeks ago, ain't happening.
The Rams defense was great in that last game of the season. The offense, I don't know what happened. They gave the Seahawks the game. Literally, I think they were playing for them at some point. But if they don't go out there and get the free agencies, I'm done. I'm just literally done with the whole process of it. But we're going to see what's going to happen.
It's a shame. They might have been playing for a draft pick then.
Because honestly, I think Bradford
They
gonna be
probably
out.
was.
I think he's gonna be out again with an injury.
And if I was him, if they come back with the same offensive line, I'd take myself out.
Yeah, because the
I wouldn't come
offensive
back.
line is horrible. I mean, you need to really
Ain't gonna be in a wheelchair today.
reevaluate what you're gonna do with the offensive line. Spend the money and go get free agency. Don't worry about the draft because there's no more Orlando Paces coming through the draft anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, let's not even talk about draft.
You know, so
Half hour.
right, so
College level talent going like this.
right, it's just
Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. With that said, I'm Robert Stewart, and this is
Dave White.
And this is our sports talk show. And tune in next week for another segment of Sports Talk with Robert and David White.